All right, how's it going today? We're going to be talking about this 1996 Jaguar XJ6 and the power steering system used on it. Alrighty, so getting right into it. So this has a hydraulic power steering pump on here, but it is kind of interesting from usual power steering pumps. As you can see right here, it's got an external power steering reservoir. That's where the power steering fluid is located. And if you look at these lines, they go down to right here. And as you can see, there is no belt that goes to that point. Right here is actually the AC unit, but you don't see a belt right there or a pulley. That's because this unit is internal on this vehicle. So it's actually gear driven off of the crankshaft somehow in here in this little port. And behind that, there is a gear that is gear driven to provide with me some power steering fluid or power steering pressure. Alrighty, so looking underneath the car right here, you can see this has a hydraulic rack and pinion. If you look over here, you can see the tie rod end, the inner tie rod, the boot that holds in the fluid and protects the in and out motion. That's about it for underneath for steering linkage. Up above, it does have, of course, a steering shaft and the input, which is located right over here. You see that? There's a U-joint, and then that goes inside of the hydraulic proportioning valve area, where every time you turn it in a certain direction, that's what directs the flow of hydraulic fluid and helps assist me in turning this boat. All right, so right now we're doing a dry park test. And right now I'm just looking for and listening for any clunking steering components. I've got the vehicle in second position, and I have my assistant moving the vehicle from left to right. I'm on the driver's side right now. I don't hear anything. And when he changes positions, I also don't feel anything from the tie rod. Moving to the other side, feeling the tie rod. There is a bit, but no clunking on this side either. And no noise also on this side. Alrighty, so now I'm going to talk about taking the inner tie rod off of this thing and what procedure is listed on all data. So it took me a while to find. I'm just going to read right from it. Let's see here. All right. So this is also in doing disassembling the actual steering rack. So there is no like just regular procedure. Anywho, pull back or pull boots to allow access to inner tie rod assemblies. Push back tab washers securing inner tie rod, lock nuts to rack. Do not disturb tab washers between lock nut and ball pin housing. Hold one inner tie rod assembly with the spanner wrench and loosen the opposite tie rod. And protect the rack teeth at the back of the rack. Clamp rack to enable other tie rod to be released. Unscrew tie rod assemblies from rack. Remove springs and packing pieces if equipped. And that is it to remove it. So they make it really easy to find out how to reassemble the tie rod and boots. We'll just go right into it. Install spring and packing washer if equipped. Install new tab washers to rack, dish face outermost. Hold one tie rod and tighten the opposite tie rod. Do not restrain rack assembly during this process. Secure tab washers in 4 places against the spanner flat, so you just got to crimp them down or push them down. Grease tie rod areas and replace loose grease from the boot. Each boot should contain 2 ounces of grease. Install boot and secure with clamps, and that's all she wrote.